You know, when someone asks me to promote something for them and I do my due diligence and I explain why, and then all of a sudden they pull back, then they weren't interested in having me do something for them anyway. They were just interested in some they were not interested in partnering with me. I'll just put it that way. So, adios, goodbye, peace, and out. But if you really want to partner with me, Snowman Multimedia, and this program, let me know. With that in mind, let's go.
On your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning. Kevin Durant, you should have left California.
This Brownsexual upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Whoa. Hell no. Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
Oh, yeah. Time to have, y'all weren't supposed to see that. I'm sorry. Time to have some fun. Good morning. Welcome to the Tripped Out Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. And I meant every word that I said. If you all want to partner with Snowman Multimedia as an advertiser, as a distributor, or whatever, why don't you hit this? Give us an email at snowmanmultimedia@gmail.com or call 317-762-8567. That's 317-762-8567. Also, you can help the Snowman Stadium Tour by dropping a donation here to GoFundMe.com/F/Snowman Stadium Tour. Second hour of the day, we'll talk all kinds of playoff football. It's the Cool and Coach hour. But there's a few things that we need to do first. And there is one particular story that I want to focus on because it involves something that has once again become very, very dear to me. That one thing is women's sports, in particular women's college basketball. And let's go to the whip around presented by Fanatics. Congratulations to Caitlin Clark passing Brittney Griner for fourth on the NCAA scoring list. The Blackhawks and the Sabres have been postponed to today as heavy snow and a travel ban have hit Western New York. Jerod Mayo lays out his vision for the new era. And on that note, Mike Debate will join me tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. I beg your pardon, at 10 a.m. Eastern time. I'll spend a full hour with him because tomorrow's a 3-hour special. I'll spend a full hour with him. That will be on YouTube only as he talks about the Patriots, their direction, the departure of Belichick, and of course, the divisional round of the playoffs. And condolences to Dejan Milojević, Warriors assistant coach who died after suffering a heart attack on Tuesday at the team dinner. Rest in peace, coach. Now I want to get to something that's very important to me. In women's basketball, TCU's next 2 games have been canceled because the team does not have enough available players due to injuries. This was announced yesterday. The Horned Frogs were scheduled to play at number 7 Kansas State Wednesday and at number 24 Iowa State on Saturday. The cancellations were a result of injuries within the program and to ensure the health and safety of the program's student athletes. Under Big 12 rules, a school unable to field a team will forfeit the contest if no extraordinary circumstances exist. And I am so saddened by this because, as I've said many times before, and I will say many more times again, I absolutely adore women's basketball, in particular women's college basketball. Been a fan of it since 1982. The university took to social media, TCU did, to say that the women's basketball program will be holding open tryouts this week to look for walk-on players interested in joining the Horned Frogs for the remainder of the season. The keys are this: Jayden Owens, their starting point guard, suffered a torn ACL and meniscus in her right knee against Houston on Saturday and will miss the rest of the season. 10 players saw action in that game. Deja Turner, who attempted to play through a left ankle injury, announced that she has had season-ending surgery. Sedona Prince is also sidelined indefinitely after suffering a broken finger in early January, and the hits keep coming for TCU. And I absolutely hate seeing this happen to a ball club that entering yesterday was 14-4 and 4-1 in the Big 12. And these were 2 big games because they were against ranked teams, Kansas State and Iowa. Kansas State last night and Iowa State on Saturday. I hope the roster spots get filled by some quality players who want to why is this affecting me so much? I apologize. That want to not just fill out a roster, but be a solution to a problem. And it's not one of those outrageous problems. They have a shortage. It's a shortage of players. Simply put, it's a shortage of players, and TCU wants to. Well, I'll say that they don't want to lose the rest of the season. They don't want to lose the rest of the season. I'm not in a fog, sick. It just hurts me so much to see this kind of situation. And sadly, this is not the first time I've seen it. Because sick Diggy, let me catch you up. TCU forfeited a game yesterday when they were scheduled to play at number 7 Kansas State, and they will also forfeit their game Saturday at number 24 Iowa State. The school took to social media to announce that they will have open tryouts for players that want to fill the spots. Man, it just hurts me. It hurts me to see this. Open tryouts are now happening at TCU to fill the spot fill the spots that are vacated by illness and injury. It's it's not a crazy story. It's a sad story that has a chance to be triumphant, depending on who fills the voids in terms of players. And let me catch our friend up from Norway even further. Their point guard Jayden Owen suffered a torn ACL and meniscus, gone for the season. Deja Turner, who attempted to play through a left ankle injury, announced yesterday she had season-ending surgery, gone for the year. Sedona Prince also sidelined indefinitely after suffering a broken finger in early January. The next time they'll take the floor is January 23rd in Fort Worth, Texas, at home against UCF. And I'm going to go ahead and say it here. We're going to follow them to see if they can figure out ways to push through, and we're going to follow this story. And RC, you may have just given me a bonus game to cover with LSU and South Carolina on the 25th, on the 25th. RC, I have an assignment for you. Tell me what time that game is, and because I think it's next Friday, it's next Thursday. I beg your pardon. Tell me the time that game is, and tell me which network or networks are carrying it. Because if that date is open in my game book, for the benefit of those of you that love women's college basketball, we're going to do a lot more of it, and I want to do LSU and South Carolina on the 25th, and we're also going to follow TCU, and of course we're going to follow the exploits of Caitlin Clark and the number 2 rated Iowa Hawkeyes. Got them Sunday. I nearly said Saturday. Got them Sunday against 18th ranked Ohio State from Value City Arena in Columbus. We're due for a break. When we come back, we'll go inside the Fanatics feedback zone, and Jim Irsay was found unresponsive last month. Yeah, that happened. Back after this.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the 4 Horsemen of Peckham's. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Mister, How do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to Snowman in the Morning. This portion, as I drag this out, is brought to you by Invader Coffee, for the coffee lover who wants quality coffee with no BS and no filler. Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. We aim only to serve the highest quality organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. We keep things simple, the best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you the value you deserve from your morning boost. 100% fair trade farms, whole ground, 100% air-roasted coffee. Oh, my gosh. And a 100% money-back guarantee. Log on to invadercoffee.com, place your order, and use the code Snowman for 15% off of your order. My goodness, I can't talk today. I am so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Invader Coffee, fuel for the fearless. Okay. All right, Cole Johnson, you're going to get mad at me for calling an audible, but I'm going to go ahead and call an audible and speak on something that I have spoken on many times before, but given the fact that I have now decided to dive all the way in and cover women's sports on the Snowman Multimedia YouTube channel, I'm going to go ahead and voice it aloud. The support needs to happen, and it needs to happen now. Because oh man, forgive me as I get my emotions together, but after reading that story about TCU and their women's basketball team going through injury hardship, if there was ever a time for the fans to lend their support, it's right now. You may be a supporter of TCU. You may be a rival of TCU. Same goes for Iowa. Same goes for LSU. Same goes for South Carolina. I think this is the season that women's college basketball can get an extraordinary boost. And I'm using the TCU story as said boost because when you lose that many players to injury within a short time period to a point where you're calling for go ahead and calling for open tryouts, man, I'll say it again. The support just needs to happen, and it needs to happen now. All right? There are going to be, and there are, change that. There were some games that I had scheduled, but I had to pull them from the schedule because I couldn't find the correct feed for them. And one of them that I wanted so bad, was a top 5 matchup tomorrow. Now, I may still get a miracle upon miracles. I'll leave it on the schedule for now, and it's a game time decision. That is number 5 UCLA at number 3 Colorado at the CU Event Center in Boulder. I was talking with one of my producers last night, and Shane Lake, the big dog, he alerted me to that game. And he said, if you can find a way to do that one, do it, because it's a top 25 matchup. And after the success that we had, if people want to look at me as a small-time YouTuber, but not a big-time broadcaster, and say 2,200 views on a women's college basketball game that I did play-by-play for is small-time, so be it. It's a big-time success to me. And it now alerts me of the big-time niche that we can zone in on, because not many people on you say it right, Brian. Not many YouTube broadcasters will zone in on women's college basketball. Well, if I can make a difference, then let me be foolish enough to think I can make a difference. And I believe I can by bringing the games to people that A, are interested, B, want to see it but can't see it, and C, just want to follow along. That TCU story that I brought to you earlier, their next game isn't until the 23rd against UCF. I'm going to find that one and I'm going to cover it. 2 days later, you have number 10 LSU and top-ranked South Carolina. I'm going to cover it. You already know the one I'm doing. I nearly did Wisconsin and Iowa this past Tuesday night. And RC, thank you. South Carolina LSU is at 7 p.m. next Thursday, and it's on the major network. That's all I need to know. We're doing that one. We're doing that one. I want to cover the games and the teams in women's basketball, not just the popular ones: Iowa, LSU, South Carolina, Kansas State, Connecticut, Tennessee. But I want to cover. It's more than just the teams. It's just, and I know Iowa beat the brakes off Wisconsin. I saw the final score and I saw what Caitlin Clark did. But think about the popularity. Think about the chance for someone that can see this game, that can hear me bring this to them, and they may not have a chance to hook up with the Hawkeye Radio Network or the Wisconsin Radio Network or Peacock, because Peacock's streaming a lot of women's basketball games. The problem? It's behind a paywall. Let me say that again for those of you in the cheap seats. The problem? It's behind a paywall. And I had about 10, 11, 12 people tell me thank you for doing that one. Even though Iowa beat the daylights out of Purdue, which seems to be a habit now, them beating the daylights out of a team. And just following this sport all the way to its finish at Gund Arena in Cleveland. Here I go needing my coins again. Now I am hell-bent. I'll get the coin in a minute because I know that's a quarter in the swear jar. I am hell-bent on making this happen. I am bent on making this happen. Big time. It needs to happen. It needs to happen. Not to mention, I know this kind of coverage will lend all kinds of support to my venture, to my channel. And for the 2 times I swore. But Jason Joseph brought this to my attention when he answered the question, Larry, during the summer that you just posed. Is all sports coverage going to be behind a paywall eventually? It's already there. It's already there. Because how can you tell me you can't put a top 5 women's college basketball game slated for an 8 p.m. Eastern time start behind a paywall we like to call the Pac-12 network? Why can't you put it on NBC or something? Are y'all that scared? I'm calling them out right now. I'm calling it out. They're too scared to let people who really enjoy the sport, really enjoy watching women's hoops and women's sports in general, see what they can bring. Because if it were all about the fans, then they would let the fans make the decision on what they want to watch and not have it dictated by a freaking network that doesn't have. Okay, let me get this coin ready now. behind a freaking network like the Pac-12 network or the SEC network, which I know is owned by the four-letter network, but follow me here, that don't have the absolute balls to showcase their athletes to the people who want to see them. Big Ten Network wants to rob you blind, and thank you, RC, for this piece of information, and charge you $70 a month. And this is in particular for the people like myself who live in the Big Ten market. Indiana, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania for Penn State, Nebraska. Hell, New Jersey for Rutgers. Really? You're going to rob people like that for your... Oh, goodness. I long for the days when the best games were on the best networks, and the best networks were not behind a freaking paywall. Let me put it to you this way. The entirety of the NCAA women's basketball tournament is behind a paywall, and that paywall has 4 letters, and you know them very well. That's robbery, and that's not fair. Now, granted, a lot of people, myself included, last year when I watched it all the way up to Dallas, in the context that I put it in, Victor, yes. That said, that are so oh man. Brandon Dyer, I have that option, but they don't offer women's college basketball, and it pisses me off. Give me this button. Unless I missed how I can catch it, they don't offer it. And I wish they did. I wish they did. I truly do. Because I was looking for any other way to cover the games I want to cover. The Pac-12 network is a bunch of crooks. The Pac-12 network and the Big Ten network are a bunch of crooks. From Ride the Aces and Hawkeyes guy, Big Ten Plus is affordable at $10 a month. The problem there is you only catch select women's college basketball Big Ten games, and it won't involve the ranked teams. It won't involve ranked teams because Peacock swooped in and snatched up Iowa. They won't even have the decency to put it on NBC streaming. I have my notebook here somewhere. The only game where NBC and Peacock are teaming up for a women's college basketball game is this Sunday, when Iowa travels to Ohio State, a pair of top 20 teams. For the fans who love watching all sports, for the fans, let me be specific, who love watching women's college basketball, women's college softball, volleyball, and whatever. And I've covered all 3. I've done play-by-play for all 3. For the best games not to be available for those of us who can't afford to be put behind a paywall is sad, sick, and needs to be called out. And if I'm going to be the first one to call it out, I guarantee you there are going to be more who will join me. Because it's wrong. April 1995, Target Center, Minneapolis, Minnesota. UConn completed their big completed their undefeated season. They completed their undefeated season. And CBS had the call. Matter of fact, CBS had the women's Final Four every single year. And I forgot. Look, football is robbery. Football is freaking robbery. If you're not going to offer a real affordable package and give them the same benefit that you're giving to people that you're charging $80, $90 a month, $365 every 4 months, then you need to shut down. So, screw it. I'll cover women's basketball the way it's supposed to be. I may not be able to show you the game for fear they'll put a big fat red X on every stream that I do, but screw it. You know why? Victor asked a very good. Let me put this question up. Victor, you know why these games cannot be distributed on local channels? Very little money involved. Sports coverage in the 21st century is being put behind a paywall. And in many cases, it's there already. When you have to pay $70 a month for a set of games you should already be in the market for and get on the house, that's a problem. Hell, the CFL did it right. They offered their games on their streaming service, and it was totally on that for they offered 85% of their games that I caught with the Canadian Football League was on the house. I just plugged in my computer and went. Only cost I paid was for having the internet here. And that's coming down. Thank the Lord. And I shouldn't personalize this, but I'll do it anyway. If I step on a lot of toes, then forgive me. If you're going to if you're going to put your games behind a paywall where a disabled cancer patient can't get them because of a lack of funds, that's just plain wrong. That's just plain wrong. And I hate seeing it this way. I hate seeing it done this way. Money has become more important than providing a service. I'll provide the service, doggone it. I'll provide the service. If I can get 2,200 people to watch this ugly mug call a basketball game and they enjoy it, then the hell with it. I'll keep doing it. Stop me if you dare. Now I feel better. And I might stay with this subject after the break. I don't know. I'm looking at what's next. May roll with it. Don't know. I know Cole's going to yell his voice out and my ears off. But some things need to be said about how unfair sports coverage has become. And I might say a little more. And to borrow from Mr. Cool McCain, who said it so eloquently last night on the Eagles Elite podcast, and hell, he said it for the time that I've known him. The irresponsibility of major sports media. And you're seeing it right before your eyes as women's college basketball is being shunned away from people that actually want to watch the darn thing without having to shell out $100 a freaking month. I've been told so many times over that it takes a fool to believe that he can change things. Well, as God is my witness, I will be that fool. I'm just hoping y'all can back me up and bring the noise with me. We'll be back.
Hey, Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast. Every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pistol 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby!
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube. Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying. But this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Bobby J and Wise El Jefe, Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Phew. Welcome back to Snowman in the Morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to put this game up because I have a feeling I'm going to solve the puzzle in covering this one. Number 5, UCLA, and number 3, Colorado. It's a tentative schedule for now. That's Friday at 7:30. Saturday, Packers and 49ers, Saturday, 7:30. And the times I'm giving you are the stream times, not the kickoff or tip-off times. Then Sunday, we go to Columbus, Ohio for number 2, Iowa at 18th ranked Ohio State. 11:30 a.m. is the starting stream time for that. And I'll say it again. If I'm foolish enough to think I can change the world and actually put back into play providing a service for the fans who can't get the main service, then as God is my witness, I'm that damn fool. And I don't care. People who are fans of sports that they love watching should be able to watch it. SC Gula in the house. Snowman, he says, Snowman, how are you, buddy? How are you, man? Victor says, I'm great. Big Teddy Bear 1000 out of Seattle joins us. Sick Diggy from Norway. Seriously Larry, who greeted me with a skull this morning, says, I remember the birth of cable TV. I do too. And people said, I'm not paying to watch TV. Eventually, we all did. I get it. Yeah, I understand that. Also, NFL primetime in its old school format. Hello, but it's got to be affordable. And now it's not. The big dog Shane Lake. Man, do I need to jump in on this convo and start raising some hell? Shane, talk to me after the show. And that is all I will say for now. Talk to me after the show. RC, Rye, the Aces, Hawkeyes guy, extreme capitalism. Once they realize fans might want to watch the game of women's basketball, they start requesting large sources of dollars for our eyeballs to see it. Well, I'm going to reverse the trend and make a large number of ears listen to it. This intellectual tongue lashing by Snowman Multimedia is proudly sponsored by Daddy Joe's Rawhide Belts. The belts for chapping that hide raw. Salute to Gary, Indiana. Absolutely. And by Yuckmouth Dental Insurance. Either keep it mini fresh or keep it shut. Thank you. I'm going to stay on that. I'm going to stay on that subject and I'm going to tie it in to this. Texas reported an athletic department revenue of $271 million in 2023, a record for NCAA schools. The report, which USA Today obtained, the report Wednesday through an open records request in partnership with the Knight Newhouse Data Project at Syracuse University, means that Texas increased its revenue by nearly $32 million for the total it reported for 2022. I'll stop there and I'll throw in this question. Any of that going to women's sports? Well, it is University of Texas. Texas is one of the few schools, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, that plays fair with all of its teams. I would love to see more of that across the board. I would love to see more of that across the board. Unfortunately, we're not going to. And okay, y'all are just going to have to forgive me. And it just plain pisses me off. I covered Chicago State women's basketball for 15 years. They had, if you had the right people in place in your department where you can market it and continue to bring in a profit, that would help. You know what I've seen though? Instead of it being about, hey, I think we can compete with schools like Missouri and Texas and TCU. And I know it's a long honored tradition, but call me old school for thinking this. It's always been about taking the seed money that the school that you're going to travel to play so they could put a foot in your ass and using it to feed and using it for your athletic department. Look, I don't know all of the rules and regulations, and someone clued me into that a decade and a half ago. Who am I kidding? I was clued into that when I started covering women's basketball at Chicago State in 1996. Okay? But why can't there be a fair, and I'm asking a whole bunch of questions and I am not going off of a script here, but looking at that figure right there, $273 million in profit in one season. And I know there are a whole bunch of whys and how comes and what have you. All right. But am I too forward in thinking this? Shouldn't there be some kind of fair distribution across the board? And Big Dog, you just said it best. There is a slim percentage of schools that play fair with sports. That's why there's so many NIL that are women. Livy Dunn, anyone? Yeah. Caitlin Clark, anyone? Because I'm glad the NIL is in place. There needs to be some regulations on it, sure. But you're giving students a chance to profit off of their name and likeness and help themselves and not just help the school. And you're right, Victor, not to mention women's high school basketball as well. When I lived in Chicago and Victor and I worked together, we did as many girls' high school basketball games as we can, no matter where it took us. It could take us right into the depth of the city like Whitney Young did, or it could take us as far out as Schaumburg or Kankakee or somewhere in the South Burbs. Chicago Heights, anyone? Marian Catholic, anyone? $273 million. And I know every sport at the University of Texas is getting a fair split. And I'll say it again, and I'm speaking purely, I normally don't, who am I talking about? I'll speak from the heart. If I'm wrong with saying Texas is splitting it evenly with their teams, please let me know, and I'll correct my statement. But it's one of the few that actually say it, that actually splits it, and calls it correctly. And to mention, Caitlin Clark has completely changed the University of Iowa to the point where, and I've talked about this with Jay Spivey, I talked about this with Victor, I talked about this with quite a few people, and I talked about it with y'all in the chat who are watching via YouTube. When you can draw 55,000 fans for an exhibition game, crossover at Kinnick, why can't you draw 55,000 people for a Final Four game? Or a national championship, a women's college basketball national championship? That can house 55,000 people. You mean to tell me the city of St. Louis won't be interested? You mean to tell me you mean to tell me the Louisiana Superdome won't be interested? You mean to tell me State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona won't be interested? You know how they used to rope off seats at the Pontiac Silverdome when the Pistons were playing there, or at the Alamo Dome when the Spurs were playing there? You mean to tell me you can't put 55,000 people I nearly said Astrodome, in the Alamo Dome for a women's Final Four? Hey, listen, NCAA, I dare you to try it. You know why Angel Reese gets a lot of pushback? Because she's bold. And forget being a poster child. If that's the case, Caitlin Clark's not the poster child either. And those two are two of the most competitive women's athletes I've seen in a long time. To back up RC's point. Because they actually play basketball and they play it well. Because they actually love being coached, and they're coached well. But back to my point earlier, and I know I've spent a lot of time on it this morning, but it just, after reading that TCU story, it just struck my heart, and I've run with it for the entirety of this hour. But I'm going with it. We've talked about this before, and now that we're into the month of January, February is not far behind, March is not far behind. You mean to tell me, and I'll use where the Big Ten women's tournament is happening, which is Minnesota. You mean to tell me they can put 55,000 people at US Bank Stadium? And I'm betting they're playing at Williams Arena at the University of Minnesota. Hey, that has 18,000. That could be a whole bunch. That could be a whole bunch of money that could be distributed among the Big Ten schools for women's sports. Here, why don't you do this? For the women's basketball tournament, divided evenly among women's sports. Same with volleyball. Why won't that happen? And I know there's a lot of rules and I know that there's a lot of rules and regulations, and I already know that. I know that. Oh, they're playing the Target Center. Wow. The women's and the men's tournaments are playing the Target Center. I might have to make an appearance. And you're right. Angel Reese and LSU do not get the respect they deserve. They're the defending champions. Although they took a loss to Auburn this past weekend. And they'll never get the respect they deserve because of Angel Reese. And this is nothing against Angel Reese. But Angel Reese has her own personality, just as Caitlin Clark has her own personality. And yet you choose one over the other? Aren't they both competitive? Aren't they both great basketball players? Aren't they both leaders of their team? Why would you feature one over the other? I think LSU and Iowa are on another collision course. It's just sad that it's going to be tampered by only 18,000 people being there in person to see it. To the NCAA, I dare you 1 year to start putting the women's Final Four in a stadium that holds more than 20,000. And you're right, RC. She has a great team around her. Feuerbach, Stolke. I mean, I've only seen one game, and that's the game that I called. I've seen parts of the game where they blasted Wisconsin, seen parts of the game where they blasted Indiana. And let me tell you something about that fan base. It was a snowstorm against Indiana. It was a snowstorm. Okay, I'll rate 3 of those 4 will be in the Final Four in Cleveland. 3 of those 4. 3 of those 4. Who will be the 4th team? That should be the focus right now, since we're into January. Since we're into January and we're in the teeth of conference season, especially with the Power 5, the question should be, who will be the 4th team? And I'll ask again, why can't you put this in a place where there's at least 55,000 people? You don't think that would sell out? To borrow from the playmaker, I see their reasons, and I offer you the crossover at Kinnick. And how fast that sold out. 55,000 plus. Matter of fact, let me do some real-time research here and get you the exact, or RC, if you can look that up before I get a chance to, the exact attendance figure at Kinnick Stadium. And I'm going to put in my credential request to cover the Big Ten men's and women's tournament in Minnesota. It's just so stupid. And you're right. And you're right, Victor. Narratives write themselves. Well, I'm writing my own. I am writing my own. And I said it earlier in the show, and I will say it again. If I'm foolish enough to think that I can sit here in studio, get as much practice as I can doing games, that will eventually take me on the site where I can cover women's basketball in person to celebrate my 30th year, then as God is my witness, I am that fool. Why won't you put this in front of a lot of more eyes? Why won't you put this, and why won't you make this available? Oh, and I know about Juju Watkins. And I'll see you, RC. Take out Kyrie and put in Maurice Cheeks. because she's a dog on defense, and I love that. Maurice Cheeks has the same type of dribbling ability as Kyrie, but Maurice Cheeks was better. Put in Maurice Cheeks for that defensive mentality. But y'all don't hear me. People don't like fundamentals anymore. And it's what Victor says all the time with men's basketball. They just want highlights. Well, I want a full basketball game. 55,646. Thank you, RC. 55,000. Let me repeat that number. 50. Give me this. Give me this right now. 55,646 at Kinnick Stadium for an exhibition game. You think you wouldn't be able to draw 55,646 plus for a Final Four game? 211 with us in the house. Thanks for joining. If y'all like what you hear and everything I've said about women's sports and how they need to make it fair and available for everybody, do me a favor. Couple your like of the video with a Cash App to $Tallman Dr. K50, because I'm trying to help my family and I'm trying to help the folks that are involved with Snowman Multimedia. And I'm really going to be pushing that for my games this weekend. I'm willing to bet you that the first time that they put a women's Final Four in a big stadium, and the first one where they should do it, is how the men did it in 1982 at the Superdome in New Orleans. They should put it at the Superdome in New Orleans. And I'm willing to bet you there's, especially in LSU's backyard, in Kim Mulkey and LSU's backyard, that would be so easy to get 62,000 people. One more attendance request look up for you, RC. I remember there were 62,000 at the Superdome on March 29th, 1982, national championship, Georgetown and North Carolina. Somebody please get me that exact attendance figure. There's a reason I'm asking. There's a reason I'm asking for that attendance figure right there. I already got this one, 55,646 at Kinnick Stadium for Iowa and DePaul for an exhibition game. Make it a regular season game and see what the attendance figures would be. Huh? Make it a regular season game and see what the attendance figures would be. I'll guarantee you they'll blow expectations away. Pause for a timeout. We'll go into football, and we'll talk all kinds of divisional playoff matchups. But Cool McCain's going to get here, and he's going to have quite a few things to say about the irresponsibility of media when it comes to, I don't know, Jason Kelce. Back after this.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze car.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do two circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. No, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Peckham's. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Mister? How do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Oh, hi. I was researching something. Couple more notes before we go to halftime. UNC Georgetown, March 29th, 1982, 61,612 at the Superdome. I mentioned 55,646 at the Kennett crossover, but nothing will beat Volleyball Day in Nebraska. 92,003. And they say women's sports doesn't draw. Who told this lie? Second half begins after this.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So tell they hear you. You can do it if you try.
He was only 58 years old when he passed away. That outcome could have been different.
Colorado happens to be one of the worst states for radon levels.
It's in our ground, and it seeps up.
The more you breathe radon, the more chance you have of DNA being hit and the cell mutated. The EPA estimates 22,000 lung cancer deaths a year caused by radon.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just...
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Mister? How do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Now we're back. And now we're ready to have some fun. Second hour Snowman in the Morning begins. And it's brought to you by Recruiting Giants. Their mission is to connect exceptional talent with exceptional companies. They strive to provide innovative and tailored staffing solutions to help organizations build successful teams. They leverage their expertise and extensive network of industry professionals, and they aim to drive growth, foster long-term partnerships, and positively impact the success of both their clients and candidates. They're dedicated to delivering exceptional service, exceeding expectations, and become the preferred staffing partner for businesses looking to recruit top talent. For more information, email my buddy Mark Zanetto at info@recruitinggiants.com or call 336-587-3659. That's 336-587-3659. Recruiting Giants, where talent meets opportunity. Speaking of opportunity, there's a Texans fan waiting for an opportunity, and we're going to get him right now. All right, sir. It's your time to gloat because the Houston Texans put a foot in Joe Flacco last Saturday. And my wife and I were shopping at IKEA, and she asked me what the score was, and I said Cleveland had just taken the lead 14-10. And this is how much confidence my wife Jody had in your Texans. Even though she's a Colts fan, she said, oh, they'll get him back. Boy, did they ever. 45-14 is the final. They move on to play the top-seeded Baltimore Ravens this weekend. Coach Dante, how are you feeling, my man?
Great, man. I'm feeling awesome. Blessed to be right here at this moment, as a diehard Texan fan, again, a lot of people didn't think we were going to get to this part. We're going to be right here. I didn't think we were going to be in the second round, but I thought we were going to be a good football team. But
yeah,
other than that, man, like I say, man, I'm blessed, proud, and, we're going into a new direction. It's a new regime in Houston.
It is, and this regime is doing absolutely fabulous. And what is stifling to a lot of people, this is happening very quickly with this young Houston Texans ball club. But given DeMeco Ryans, given the people that are in charge, CJ Stroud, can't say enough about him, or Will Anderson, this is a team that is moving in the right direction, and they're moving in the right direction very quickly.
Oh, yeah, man. Like I said, I saw it first day during training camp. So, again, man, like I say, I knew how good this team was. It was a different vibe in training camp, different atmosphere when you went to training camp. People was waking up out their sleep like at 3 o'clock in the morning just to be at the stadium by 4 o'clock. And like I say, it was just something different. And like I say, I'm blessed I'm proud to be a part of the fan base. And, you can keep us down, but you ain't gonna be able to keep us down for long. You can't stay contenders forever. You're not gonna stay contenders forever. At some point, you gotta blow it up. And when we lost to Sean Watson, we just had to blow it up and start it over. I know we had a campaign when we fired 2 coaches, which is David Culley wasn't never going to be a coach no further in this league after coming out for being an assistant for like 20 years. And Lovie Smith, time just passed him by so bad. So I didn't never think they were going to be the future head coaches of the Houston Texans. So without those 2 guys, we don't get DeMeco Ryans. DeMeco Ryans doesn't exist as a Texan organization. But like I say, the moment I saw training camp, I knew things were going to change. And when we drafted CJ Stroud, the moment when I see him look in training camp, I knew everything was going to be fine. I mean, everybody bashed him about that pick that he threw in New England. Definitely remember that and said he would already call him a bust and stuff and already. Yeah. And tried to get him for the S2 test. And he said, wow, watch what I do. And all of a sudden we're in the playoffs. I mean, really, he only had one bad a game this season. He only had at least just one. I would say just outside of the Cardinals game, everything else has been great.
And he missed 2 games. I believe it was 2 games with a concussion.
It was 2 games with the concussion.
He missed 2 games with a concussion.
It was that Titans and the Browns game.
And he came back, and he's doing even more right now to help this ball club. I will have to ask about. I will have to ask this: going into Baltimore, how much will they miss Tank Dell to really stretch that Baltimore defense? Even though Nico Collins is there and Collins is fantastic, you think they miss? Do you really think they will miss Tank Dell in facing Baltimore this weekend?
Oh yeah, I think we've been missing him all season. Well, the moment he got hurt against the Broncos, I really do think we've been missing him. But like I said again, CJ Stroud greatness. I mean, when you have that quarterback, it gives you a shot to win any ball game, no matter who it is on the field. It's just like when we had Watson. I mean, when you had it, no matter it don't matter the receivers are. When you always had a quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, they're gonna always give you an opportunity to win a game. So anytime I got CJ Stroud, you got a chance to win a game. But yeah, we missed Tank Dell, and he'll be in full recovery next year. Outside of Tank Dell, and Nico Collins, I really don't like our receiving core. Outside of that, I still think in the next offseason, we got $74 million in cap space. Still think we need to go out and get a receiver, whether it's in the off season or the draft. I still think we need to go out and get a receiver. But other than that, we've been missing Tank Dell all year. But when you have that quarterback in CJ Stroud that's not playing like a rookie, that's playing like he's a 5-year player, he's a veteran, then that's going to always give you opportunity no matter where you go.
So what receivers would be on the Texans' radar going into this offseason? Something that'll really peel the onion off of defenses, aside of Dell and aside of Collins.
Well, I will say the Saints receiver, Rasheem Shaheed. I think he will be a nice fit for us. He's a speedy wide receiver, can run routes and can run deep. Someone that can take the top off the defense. I know Mike Evans or T. Higgins is out there, but Mike Evans is just the same as Nico Collins, a possession receiver. Doesn't really go by you like that. T. Higgins will want too much money. He want too much money as a number one wide receiver, so I don't think that's a really good option. Like I said, I don't mind if they get him, but again, Rasheem Shaheed will be a great fit for us. Another speedy guy that can run routes. And then in the draft, we do got a first round pick. So we can find a way to, get a Xavier Worthy or something like that, someone that can run routes and just, take the top off the defense or something like that. Or Xavier Legette from South Carolina. I would love that.
Xavier Worthy out of Texas, I think, would be and this is coming from an outsider's eyes. Worthy would be like not only the best fit, but the most complete fit for this Texans receiving core, because a couple more pair of hands won't hurt CJ Stroud. Your tight ends. How many tight ends do y'all have? And are there any that you are targeting either in the draft or through free agency that'll help complete this offense?
Well, I like our tight ends. Brevin Jordan, this guy was on the verge of getting cut in the preseason and training camp because he was hurt a lot in the training camp. So I thought this was the last go for him. He stepped up in a key way. Like I said, we let him go. I wouldn't mind. Dalton Schultz is only on a 1-year deal. I would love to try to work out a deal to bring him back a little bit. I know we got Nico Collins. We got to pay him too. Gernard is going to want money. He's going to want some money this offseason because again he's been very good for him. And rightfully so. He's a 12.5 sack guy. Let's see with the Texans. They do got some decisions to make, but it's not no major decisions where you won't let someone walk. But I wouldn't mind paying Nico Collins. I wouldn't mind paying Dalton Schultz as well. Leaks is on a cheap deal. If they willing to let him walk, I'm okay with that. I said again, I just think anytime you got the quarterback, I mean, it makes them look better. I mean, you got to give credit to Coach Ryans and Coach Bobby Slowick, who's interviewing for head coaching jobs already. But other than that, man, like I say, I think we at the end of the season we may start have to looking at that tight end position a little more. But if they could work out a deal with Dalton Schultz, I wouldn't mind them working out a deal with him.
We got somebody waiting for us, and it's this man. Now, you know we can't have the Cool and Coach Hour without the cool cat himself. Mr. McCain, how are you, my friend? Good to have you.
Oh, that ain't a good look right there. You already know that look.
Yeah. Saw it last
What up,
night.
my people?
You don't seem too happy.
So I want
for obvious.
to let y'all
obvious
know
reason. Go ahead.
the reason I have this background realization. So I'm nowhere near as mad as people think I am. Right? This background is the visualization of my ownership and my general manager and them accepting feedback from people. That's the that is the visualization of that.
I love that. Well, we got one of our game previews in. We'll do some more on the divisional round previews, but I want to see the floor to Mr. McCain because there was something you mentioned last night, which I absolutely love, and that's the irresponsibility of major sports media. And of course, the personality involved is one Jason Kelce. There were reports that came out that he will retire. Then there's some that came out, well, I don't know. I want Mr. McCain to lay all this out for us and talk about that irresponsibility. The floor is yours, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch all of what you were asking.
Jason Kelce and the irresponsibility of sports media.
Oh, you're talking about what I said last night. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. We got people running out trying to make sure that they're breaking a story before everybody else. They don't care if the story's right or not. They just want to be the first person that says something. Just take your time, check your sources, make sure you're giving people the correct information. You got all these people running around saying, oh, AJ Brown's a cancer, he's a problem, and blah, blah, blah. We're going to line him up on the left side, have him go out there and have 12 to 1,700 yards a season and 10 plus touchdowns. That's what we're going to do. What do you think we're going to do? The question is exactly what Serious Larry asked. Should Nick be fired? Should Nick be fired? The question is a resounding yes. Anyone who says otherwise is a yes clown, doesn't know anything about sports, doesn't understand the locker room culture, any of that. Will he be fired? That's a different question because you don't fire your last says. You're not going to fire a guy like that unless he decides that he's going to bite back at the hand that fed him, which is what happened with his predecessor, Mr. One Doug Peterson.
Right.
He decided he wasn't going to be a lapdog. He was going to do what he wanted to do. And he did what he wanted to do right on out the door. But as long as Nicky Tight Pants does what they tell him to do, he's not going anywhere. And back to the media. You have a responsibility. You have a lot of people that only listen to what mainstream media says, what these certain people say. They're always having to backtrack statements that they've made.
Yeah.
Why do you need to make that statement so early if you need to backtrack it? How about you hold on to the information? How about you double check us? No one's going to beat you because you're the source. Calm down.
Oh, let's see. What did he cover? Oh, yeah. Citing everything and making sure everything is on.
Shout out to my man, Coach Dante. You know what I'm saying? Gotta shout out my boy, Coach Dante. Loving them Texans, man. Hey, I'm on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going to Cancun. We should be going to Antarctica or over there to Russia in the camps to get whipped. That's where we should be going. So shout out to my man, Coach Dante, and the Texans.
Oh gosh.
Appreciate it.
He said Antarctica. He didn't say Cancun. He said we should be going to Antarctica. I love it. Let's take a break if this thing acts right here. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll do some more divisional round matchups. And yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead, cool. I know there's someone you want to greet. I'm ready when you are.
What up?
Had to get that one in. Let's take a break. When we come back, Is there another classic waiting in Orchard Park, New York this time? Y'all remember what happened 2 years ago in Kansas City? We'll discuss when you guys return.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. You kids from the block. New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck. Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
And ever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do two circles, and that translates to I can be the black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
The divisional round of the NFL playoffs is here, and we're inside of the Cool and Coach Hour presented by Fanatics, officially licensed everything. So we're going to start in Baltimore. Saturday kicks off the divisional round as the Houston Texans take on the top-seeded Baltimore Ravens. That's a 4:30 kickoff. Got part of Dante's thoughts. We'll come back to him. Let me go up top to Mr. McCain, and I want you to take a look inside your crystal ball at this particular matchup because this is going to be a good one. Cool? Your thoughts?
So, this is the way I'm going to put the game first, and then I'm going to explain it.
All right.
I'm going to pick the Ravens to win.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes, sir.
This game is on upset alert. This is the only game I have this weekend on upset alert. And here's why. CJ Stroud is playing at a level first-year quarterbacks don't play at right now. And let me explain to you as an outsider. I know Coach Dante got his thoughts. He sees them every week. As somebody who watches but isn't watching every game. When I watch CJ Stroud play, he doesn't care who it is. Mm-hmm. He's not looking for Nico Collins. He's not looking for Dalton Schultz, this person, the next person. He's looking to see who's open. If you got on a blue, red, or white jersey, depending on what jersey they're wearing that week, and you're open,
right?
He's throwing you the ball. Mm-hmm. If you don't catch it, he might have to come slide up beside you on the sideline. Let me holler at you real quick, player, what's going on? But he giving you the ball. Yep. He's not limiting himself to 2 or 3 people. And I'm talking to you, Mr. Hurts. He's looking for who's open, and he's saying, hey, he get him the ball. Mm-hmm. He's confident. This team doesn't have sense enough to know they should be worried right now.
Right.
Like, they're young. They don't understand, like, oh, man, we in the divisional round of the playoffs against the number 1 seed. They just having fun playing football at this point because nobody expected them to even be where they're at. So if they lose by 30 points this week, they still achieve for the season.
You just said the key thing. No fear. with the Houston Texans right now. They're playing with all sorts of house money. Okay. This game is indeed on upset alert. So let me ask you this, Mr. McCain. What puts them over the top at M&T Bank Stadium Saturday afternoon? What does it? What's the one? If you can identify one key that will put them over the top for this game, what's that key and why?
Winning the turnover and time of possession battle. That's the key.
Let's go downstairs to Coach Dante.
I ask you the same. Stroud, we know CJ Stroud's going to go out there and play well. He hasn't given us any inclination that he won't. So why do we say if he plays good? We know he's going to do that. They're going to run the ball. D'Amico Ryans is going to have his team ready to play. Their offensive coordinator, he's going to be ready because he's being watched for possibly being a future head coach. So he's going to go out there and do his thing. Time of possession, turnover battle. That's how they win.
Downstairs to Coach Dante. Identify the keys in your mind that you think will put the Texans over the top in this game in Baltimore on Saturday.
Well, last time we played them, it was 25-9, but it wasn't dominant the way it looked. I know 25-9 look like a lot outside of school, but it ain't. If you actually watch the game, you'll just know that the offense was able to move the ball down the field. They did get pressure on CJ Stroud because our offensive line wasn't intact yet, wasn't actually intact. Now that the offensive line is real good and intact, you got Shaq Mason, who's been awesome all year for us. Juice Scruggs coming off an injury has been great, man. Juice Scruggs has been great for us. He's a rookie out of Penn State. He's a rookie out of Penn State. George Fant, Kendrick Green, who everybody said at Pittsburgh, he was the worst. He was the worst. He was the worst. And how he looked over in Houston before he got hurt in Pittsburgh, way better. He looked way better than he would have looked in Pittsburgh. Sometimes it'd be a change of scenery. These people need to get up out of their old place. And Kendrick Green was good for us before he got hurt. And we got Larry Tunsil. Yes, he's gonna fall start. He's gonna fall start, but he ain't gonna let nobody touch his quarterback. But I think the key is we gotta be able to run the football effectively. And Devin Singletary has given us a chance effectively to get some big plays in the backfield and out of the backfield. He has played so great to the point he just moved Damian Pierce on up out of the rotation and moved him to special teams. That's how hot he's been going. Our defensive secondary has been really, really good. Darius Stingley, I think it's still a travesty. I think it's still a travesty to me that this guy is not an all-pro the way he's been locking people up all season long, 5 interceptions. But I guess Sauce Gardner is the bigger name, so they put him in the all-pro, but I think that's a travesty. Him and CJ Stroud not even in the all-pro discussion. Steven Nelson has been great since he's been over here. Our defensive line, man, what more I got to say about them? We was able to get pressure on Lamar Jackson. We was able to frustrate Lamar Jackson in that game one. Frustrate him. We can get pressure on him, keep him off the field and frustrate him. I think we got a good opportunity. Like I said, we do miss Tank Dell, but every time you have that quarterback that don't play like a rookie, that can get the ball to any receiver, no matter who it is. It can be the me and Cool McCain. He can get the ball to us. He'll find us when we open. You got that outside shot of winning this game. And our field goal kicker has been so great. Kyrie Fairbairn has been so great. I'm happy for him. But other than that, we got a shot. I think we'll lose this game, but I think we'll lose it close. And like I say, it's already a successful season for us. Even if we lost to the Browns, it was always a successful season for us because a lot of critics and a lot of people, did not pick us to be in this situation. But I'm thankful we back in this situation. And again, you're gonna see us here for many more years to come because we got $74 million in cap space. We're gonna get CJ Stroud more weapons. CJ Stroud is gonna continue to be what he is. And like I said, I can give so many people so much crap, but I ain't gonna do that because, like I said, I know what everybody said about my organization, and we didn't know what we were doing. I know what everybody. I heard it. Cool McCain heard the critics too, heard everything, but I ain't gonna do that. But like I said, you're not gonna keep a bad team down forever. You ain't gonna keep us down forever and stuff like that. So again, we just wait. We love the critics. We love the disrespect, and that's why we here at this moment.
For me, the key to the Texans, I always say lean on your running game. But for me, the Texans' key is going to be the offensive line. How is it going to stand up against that Baltimore Ravens pass rush? And can they open the holes for Devin Singletary, part 2 and part 3? And most important, and Dante, you said it so eloquently at the top of the hour, giving CJ Stroud the one thing he needs to compete against Baltimore: time. Got to give him some time, and you got to keep him upright so he can look down the field and get his receivers. Because as you both said, and it's very true, he doesn't care about, should I lean on this receiver? Should I lean on that receiver? Are you open? Can I fit the ball to you? I'm going to get it to you. And cool, like you explained a few moments ago, if you miss it, he'll come up to you and say, are you all right? Are we on the same page? That is one thing, one quality about CJ Stroud that has impressed me. Keeping his team, forget their receivers, keeping his team on the same page. And the other key for me that is going to drive Houston over the top is going to be their poise. If Baltimore jumps them early, how do they respond? That's one of the biggest keys for me. How do the Texans respond should the Ravens jump out early, 7-0, 10-0? How do the Texans respond? The second half of the year, the Texans have responded great to a lot of adversity. They were behind 14-10 against Cleveland, blew the doors off the place. So that's going to be another key. Let's stay with the Saturday game, and the feature. It's at Levi's Stadium Saturday night. 8:00 is the kickoff time. It's the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. 8:00 is the start time. I'll go downstairs to Coach Dante. Your thoughts about this divisional round?
Well, I got the 49ers to win this game, but I think it's going to be a close game. I would say like a 7 to 10 point game. What Green Bay did to Dallas was a combination of good quarterback play and route running. What the receivers did, they ran some hell of a routes to get them DBs guessing. They ran the football. It started out by running the football too. They ran the football. They was able to run the football early down the Dallas Cowboys' throat, and they continue to do it all game. The offensive line protected really well, but they receivers ran some excellent route, and you got to give some credit to Matt LaFleur of how he threw those wide receivers open, man. They was able to pick apart the Dallas defense. They was able to get force turnovers too. Force turnovers, a pick six. That was big. By Darnell Savage, and it just seemed like CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott wasn't never on the same page throughout this whole game. But again, that's what Dallas do for you. They continue to do it to you. They continue to do it to you every year. But again, I gotta give credit to Green Bay, man. A combination of running the football, offensive line. Jordan Love makes some excellent throws, but if you look at up close, the route running for the receivers to get wide open, how to get separation off the line of scrimmage for the Green Bay Packers, and having make it seem like they were really wide. The only play that was actually wide open was that play action to the tight end when he was way by himself. Otherwise, you look at everything else. The cornerbacks was getting beat off the line of scrimmage on route running. Romeo Dobbs got still good Gilmore like twice on the corner route, and then you look at that guy Wicks on a perfect throw, beat him right off the post route. But that I give credit to Matt LaFleur. His play calling was phenomenal. The defense forcing turnovers, and Dallas continues not to get nothing going. No running game at all. Dak Prescott turning into spoiled milk, throwing interceptions, throwing pick sixes, and Mike McCarthy just looking like a damn deer in the headlight again. That's all it is. But I got the 49ers by 7.
All right, Mr. McCain, talk to me.
The 49ers should win this game handily. I think one thing that a lot of people are not thinking about, because they think that they've already exercised the demon in their mind, is their whole belief as an organization, including Brian Snow, even though he doesn't say it. They all do. And the ones that say they don't are liars, and they don't tell the truth. They still believe that they should have beat the Eagles last year and they should have been in the Super Bowl. So they're butthurt about that, and they're going to use that butthurt to come out here and smack around Green Bay so that they can get back where they feel like they should be back in the NFC Championship game, and then win there to do what they believe that they should have done last year. In their mind, the 49ers fans and the 49ers team, in their mind, if they do it this year, that vindicates them that they should have done it last year. It does not, but in their mind, it does. So that's going to give them something to play for, something that their coach can use as an extra motivation, not just for this game, also for the NFC Championship game, and if they win that, also for the Super Bowl. So when you basically take something that's been festering inside of a team for a year, and you say now it's time to unleash that. That's the difference between, to me, a close game and a little bit more cushion for the 49ers. I do agree 100% with Coach Dante. The Packers have the weapons to score, and they will score on the 49ers. They will make this more difficult. But when you're, if you watch the Chappelle show, the whole team is over there like them Prince scenes. They have been all since the last offseason. This is their time to use that in a positive way, and I think that they're going to do so. And I also want to go back to the Cleveland Browns, the Texans and Ravens game. I want to ask, who do you think has a better pass rush, the Cleveland Browns or the Ravens? I'm going to say Cleveland.
I think Cleveland got a better pass rush.
And the Texans line proved. Yeah. So I think that the Texans already proved we can give CJ Stroud time. Right? It's just, can they control possession? And can they win a turnover battle? That's going to be the difference to me.
Yeah.
I just want to reiterate why I think the thought way I thought of that. And like I said, we're not have every motivation to go out and win this game. I don't see them losing it.
Yeah. I mean,
we threw a couple shots in there because y'all deserve every one of them.
Yeah. Oh, Cleveland got the better pass rush. I mean, when you look at Myles Garrett, Sedarius Smith, and all those guys can get to the quarterback, and they were the number one defense coming in. Look at Pittsburgh. They got a good pass rush over there. Watt and Highsmith, who was a double-digit sack guy. We gave up no sacks to those guys, so we proved that we can block. We proved we can block on the offensive line. We'll see what happens on Saturday. But again, last time we played the Ravens, we didn't have our offensive line attack. Our offensive line wasn't there. This time our offensive line was there. That time, same reason why Cleveland beat the heck up out of us on Christmas Eve. Will Anderson wasn't in the game. He dominated in the game. Gennard wasn't playing in the game. Gennard wasn't playing in the game. Malik Collins didn't even play. CJ didn't even play. A lot of our impact guys didn't even play in that game. And now that they came back and played very good, hey, it just proved we can be more scarier if our guys actually be out there. Like I said, I still didn't make no excuse because there's still no reason why you make Flacco look like a second coming of a Hall of Fame jacket on. But other than that, again, even though they was banged up, they players was out there. Our players was banged up to the point where we couldn't play. You got to realize injuries happen every day in a sport, and any sport. Injuries going to happen late stages of the season. So we all got to realize that and take notice of that. Next man up, and like I say, our next guys up. We got our guys back. They guys were still able to play, and we were able to dominate the game.
For me, for the 49ers, it's everything that Cool said, taking everything that they bottled up for a year when Hassan Reddick made an all-world play and chopped the ball away from Brock Purdy, which led to the Eagles dominating the NFC Championship game. Take all that and dump it on the Packers and dump it on whoever's next behind that and whoever's next behind that. The key for me for San Francisco, they're healthy. Eric Armstead is back after missing 5 games. Christian McCaffrey's back after missing a game. Jawan Jennings, who can take the top off the defense. Dante, you and I have used that term a lot this hour. Jawan Jennings can take the top off the defense. Having him back from a concussion is going to be huge. The offensive line is intact. And, of course, you got George Kittle, who's been dealing with back spasms. He's back. The bad cap that kept as I mentioned, Christian McCaffrey out of the season closer. They just rested a lot. They just rested a lot of people. And now that they've gotten some reinforcements back, although they're going to be minus Cleveland Farrell on the defensive line, he's lost for the remainder of the year, but they made some movements on the practice squad and elevating people up to the active roster. There are going to be some movements, but they have the main pieces back. And let me throw some love to one Javon Kinlaw, former first-round pick out of South Carolina. He's been huge for San Francisco in terms of their depth, in terms of having to really, really step up when Armstead went down and when they lost parts of their defensive line. Take a break, and when we come back, we'll look at the Sunday games and get y'all ready for the Sunday matchups in the divisional round. Is there another classic between the Chiefs and the Bills, or will the classic come in the Motor City? We'll talk about all that when y'all get back.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Peckham's. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube. Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying, but this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Poppy J and Wise El Jefe. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back. You're inside of the Cool and Coach Hour, and this portion is presented by SeatGeek. Looking for the best way to experience live events? SeatGeek has you covered. With just a few taps on your phone, you can find the best seats for concerts, sports, theater, and more. Don't miss out on unforgettable moments. Download the app today and get ready for an experience like no other. If you use the code Snowman Multimedia, you get $20 off your first purchase. That's only through the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan. Now, to the Sunday divisional matchups, and we're going to start in Detroit. Oh, boy. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield versus Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions with a 3 p.m. kickoff. Let me go upstairs to Mr. McCain. Let me start with you. Your thoughts on this game. Buccaneers and Lions, 3 p.m. Sunday at Ford Field.
The Lions are going to win this game. The Buccaneers, they played a good game. But let's be real. They're not in the same league as the Lions. They were lucky enough to get the coldest team in the NFL going into the playoffs to play. So, no shade to them. They did what they were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Detroit's on the mission too. Detroit wants to get to this NFC Championship game, and they see a clear path before them. And they have the worst team, I think, in the NFC.
That's remaining.
In the Bucs. Worst team, I think, in there as far as the talent goes overall. Because I don't think the Bucs have the same level of talent. You got Mike Evans, You know, you got some guys that can run, but talent-wise, you match them up against all the other teams, talent-wise, even the team that they destroyed, and they're lacking on the talent end. But when the other team doesn't have effort, you're going to win when you have effort and the other team doesn't. But Detroit's came into play. They just crossed an emotional threshold with that win against Matthew Stafford. Those guys are locked in and ready to go. And I do want to, in the words of my man Zekala, I do want to jump back to the 49ers game real quick. When the last buzzer goes off, you're going to look over the 49ers and you're going to hear game blouses. You like to purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
I laugh, but I hate you both for that, but you're so true. Downstairs to Dante, your thoughts on the Buccaneers and Lions in Detroit on Sunday?
Well, I think Detroit is going to win this game. I think I'll say again. I always say Detroit. Let's just remind me of the Heat and the New York Knicks when the Heat was the worst talented team in the playoffs, and they still ended up making the finals. But they were the best team. They were the better squad. But I still got Detroit. I mean, I think Detroit is going to win this game. I'm around St. Brown has been awesome this year. The running game between Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs has been electric. Jared Goff, if he can keep his turnovers down, if he can try not to turn the ball over, I think they will be fine. I think they would get pressure on the court on Baker Mayfield. I think the Eagles got pressure on them at times. But the Eagles offense wasn't able to be able to do anything, especially when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Eagles game, that remind me of the first time they played without the A.J. Brown. Todd Bowles did nothing but the same thing. All they did was stop the run. They played man-to-man defense. Outside of Devontae Smith, nobody else could get wide open. Nobody else can get wide open. And that game was literally the same game that they played. And no outside of no other receiver couldn't really get open outside of Devontae Smith. They couldn't run the ball because Todd Bowles was stacking the box, so that's why they were stopping the run. And the defense couldn't tackle anybody. I mean, they were just running routine routes, like crossing routes and stuff. And you have guys like that, like Bradbury, just couldn't tackle, he couldn't cover anybody. Those are the type of issues the Eagles were actually having. They've been having that all year, really. They've been having that same issue all year, so that's nothing new right there. But I think it's going to catch up to Tampa Bay in this game. I think that underrated defense in Detroit, I think that's going to kind of catch up to them a little bit. I think they're going to get more pressure. I think they're going to force Baker Mayfield to turn the ball over, which he should have did, which is Zach Cunningham should have caught that interception on Baker Mayfield, but it didn't. And that next play resulted into, I believe, a touchdown. After it resulted into a field goal on that play when he didn't catch it. But I believe the Lions will force turnovers on them. I believe they will stop all those crossing routes. I believe the Lions will run the football, control time of possession. And I believe the Lions are the better team in this game.
Oh boy, now the Prince references are rolling in. Thank you, Sig Diggy, for this one. Let's run a play, Computer Blue. Good grief, I love it.
And answer your question, Sig Diggy. It's not going to be serving pancakes after the game. It's going to be Snowman.
I ain't serving a doggone thing after the game. I'm just gonna
want some pancakes.
Shut
want
up.
Some fresh fruit. That's gonna be Snowman. That's gonna be Snowman.
That ain't gonna be me.
That's where that's who's gonna tell you to purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
I'm gonna say on to the next. Detroit should win this one handily. You have the lowest seed remaining is Green Bay, and the Niners will take care of them. But you have a team in Tampa Bay that embarrassed the Philadelphia Eagles, and now Tampa Bay's luck is about to run right into a blue brick wall with the Detroit Lions, because as Cool said earlier, the Lions too are also on a mission to reach their first NFC Championship game since 1991. They won their first division title since '93, their first ever North title, because the last title they won was the Central title I incorrectly on a couple of occasions said 91. It was actually 93 when they won their last Central Division title. You have Jahmyr Gibbs. You have one of the missing pieces of the puzzle in the Detroit backfield. David Montgomery, a running back that walked from Chicago, to Detroit and was actually used as a running back correctly. And what more can you say about one Amon-Ra St. Brown? I always fumble that name. And also, what more can you say about one Sam Laporta? You're talking about huge pieces of this Detroit team, and they are all on a mission. And of course, on defense, you have to watch out for one Aiden Hutchinson and that Detroit pass rush. I have them winning this game very, very handily. Last but not least, we go to Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, where some old friends get together, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills, the defending Super Bowl champions, winning wild card weekend in a frozen Arrowhead Stadium, 26-7. The Buffalo Bills took care of business against the Pittsburgh Steelers in a game that was postponed because of weather and travel conditions. And I'll be the first one to talk about this one. I believe the Chiefs go down. The Bills have a more complete team if, and I stress the word if, they use James Cook correctly. This guy is a thoroughbred. He is a workhorse. He needs to touch the ball at least 30 times in this game. And considering what the weather is supposed to be like at Rich Stadium in Buffalo, I believe he's going to get the touches that he wants, take a lot of pressure off of Josh Allen to make plays. And I think the Bills are going to win by at least 2 scores. Notice I say at least 2 scores. Now watch what happens come Sunday night at 6:30. CBS has that call. To Mr. McCain, your thoughts from Rich Stadium, the Bills and the Chiefs getting together.
I definitely agree with you that the Bills are going to win. They are the home team. They have the home crowd. We're going to get to see Kansas City go on the road. Now, there's 2 ways they can lose the game. Number one is they can't keep the game close because the referees always favor the Chiefs. And anybody who doesn't like that, go argue with your mom, auntie, whoever.
I'm not arguing.
But not with
I'm
us.
not arguing. I'm not
I'm
arguing.
just saying, anybody out there listening, you don't like
we
that?
Saw it we saw it in Phoenix, Arizona.
Grandma,
listen, we saw it in Phoenix, Arizona last year. Right.
But that's what that is. So you need to go out and you need to really give them that work and make sure you have a lead to be able to withstand that stretch of bad calls that's going to happen. Also, I think that the big thing is the receivers on Kansas City, they don't catch the ball well. You talk about running the ball 30 times. What I want you to realize is James Cook is never going to run the ball 30 times. If that's the fantasy that you have, you're going to be disappointed. The fact of the matter is Josh Allen is going to run the ball probably 10 plus times in this game and then flex again when he makes a big play. So you're going to probably get 30 runs in the game, but you're probably going to get 10 of them from Josh Allen. But defensively, I think Buffalo, even though they've had some injuries, this is a team that you can make do some things that you want them to do. You make them a one-dimensional team. You make them have to throw the ball. You win this game. All you got to do is make sure you don't touch people and let them drop the ball so they can't call pass interference. You win this game.
All right, Coach Dante, let's finish up the previews. Downstairs to you, Rich Stadium, the Buffalo Bills, and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, I will be the lone wolf on this one.
Yeah,
I think the game. I think Buffalo very much win the game. The problem is going to come to me. If the Chiefs can keep the game close, and I think they will find a way to keep this game close.
Yeah,
Josh Allen is going to turn the ball over. He's going to take his shots, and I think if the Chiefs can force him to turn the ball over, which is he has done a lot this year because he's a gunslinger. He has done that a lot this year. And they were able to run the ball with Isaiah Pacheco and just basically keep the game close and allow Chris Jones and his pass rush, George Karlaftis, who's been amazing for them this year, out of Purdue, that rookie out of Purdue, out of the draft. I believe they will be fine. And their defense has been okay. Their defense has been pretty good. I think they had about the second best defense in the league this year prior to previous years when their defense was in the top 20s. Always in the mid 20s, but I think think Kansas City will keep the game close. I think they will force turnovers on Josh Allen. I think they will somewhat run the ball with Isaiah Pacheco, and Rasheed Rice has been a big help for the Kansas City Chiefs offense. I think this game will be a close game, and I got this Chiefs team winning by a field goal. But I think for the Buffalo Bills to win, Josh Allen just cannot have boneheaded turnovers. You just cannot have those boneheaded mistakes. Not against Patrick Mahomes, not against this squad. If it's in Orchard Park, regardless, you cannot have those boneheaded turnovers in bad decision making. And they got to be able to run the football with James Cook. And if they do that, better run the football with James Cook, they very much will dominate this game. And I'm going for the Chiefs because I think they will do. I think they will keep the game close, and I think Josh Allen will make a couple bonehead decisions that's going to keep them, hold them back a little bit.
Those are our division previews, and they're presented by BetUS.com. BetUS.com, where the game begins. 90 seconds left, and I'm going to give each of you 90 seconds to answer this question. Bonus question time. Is Justin Fields QB1 in Chicago? Upstairs to Mr. McCain first.
He should be. Justin Fields has not been given the proper weapons. They fired the entire offensive staff, basically letting you know that it was trash, garbage, and doodle juice. So with that being said, you should give him the opportunity to come in with a quality staff and see what he can do. Are they going to do that? That's a different question, but that's not the question that you asked.
True. All right, downstairs to Coach Dante. Should Justin Fields be QB1 in Chicago?
Yes, I think he's a very good quarterback. Like I say again, when I say very good quarterback, I list Matt Stafford, very good quarterback. I listed Derek Carr, very good quarterback, very good quarterback. They're not great quarterbacks, they're not elite quarterbacks, but that's close to elite. They just, what I mean by that, they just haven't had the proper weapons, the proper coaching to get them over the hump. I mean, that DJ Moore was basically Justin Fields' best target, best receiver. You mean to tell me Darnell Mooney is the number one wide receiver, which is he's the number 3? Never had an offensive line. They had a running game. I believe they had the running game with Montgomery, who still averaged 800 yards behind that offensive line, but that showed you how bad that offensive line was.
Right.
Now, if you move on for Justin Fields, now y'all have to start right back over. You want to start right back over with Keller Williams. Do you really want to do that? Do you really want to set your organization back? Again, I think Justin Fields is a franchise quarterback. I think he's a very good quarterback. I think he's a very good quarterback that has potential to get to that great level and that elite level with the right team and with the right offense. And you see why they fired Lou Getty. Every Bears fan wanted him gone.
Oh, my God, yes.
They got that whistle right there. And he played great. He played great when he came back. The Bears rarely lost when he came back. So that showed you there's some eliteness there in Justin Fields when he's on the field. When you give him the right pieces, it is some eliteness there. But I call him a very good quarterback. He's a
bonus question to the chat. Should Justin Fields be QB1 in Chicago? Let me know your thoughts down below. That's Coach Dante. That's Cool McCain inside the Cool and Coach Hour. You hear them and see them every Thursday. Thank you, gentlemen, very, very much. I love you both. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Go Heels, go Nuggets. We're on the basketball, baby.
I wonder why he said it that way. I have my suspicions, but I said the same thing last year. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they're simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope y'all are too. Remember, special start time tomorrow. Get a full hour with Mike Debate talking Patriots and talking Divisional Round. So long, everybody.